Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. They're filming the new Batman Clayface movie set in the Gotham of the DCU, and there have been a ton more Batman-specific Easter eggs, as well as references to some of his big villains like Black Mask and other new characters like the DCU Black Canary. If you didn't realize, they're also filming this DCU Gotham City in the same place in real life that Matt Reeves filmed the Batman movies, so there have been a lot of questions about whether or not the Batman movies will secretly be connected to the DCU. There are a lot of new Easter eggs in a lot of these images that we spotted that actually clarify that the DCU Gotham City will be a completely separate place and it won't be connected to Matt Reeves' Gotham City. It's not meant to secretly be the same version of Robert Pattinson Batman. So there is all this evidence right now that just seems to support the idea that James Gunn will cast a totally different Batman for the DCU. What we'll do is we'll go through all these Easter eggs and break it all down. There's a lot to unpack here, so if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, because this is still pretty early days in terms of this new DCU Batman showing up. And he's not even supposed to be a really big character during this Clayface movie, he'll just be in the background. But there have been a lot of Easter eggs recently pointing to what he's actually been doing recently as the events of the Superman movie. We'll just start with the really big Easter eggs first and then go down the list, because there are many things here. First big one is the official map of this DCU Gotham City. Really big deal, because notice all the labels at the bottom. Very handy, very useful for Easter egg hunting. It describes all the major locations at the bottom of the map here. It's almost like playing the Arkham games, but in real life. Now there are 43 different map points here, all of them big Easter eggs, and I don't want this to turn into a 2-hour long video, so I'm just going to focus on the biggest ones here. But you can actually zoom and enhance here and see every single one. If you couldn't tell just looking at the entire map here, just staring at it, they're actually using the Batman No Man's Land comic book map as DCU Gotham. They actually use this in a couple of the live-action movies and TV series too. Probably most famously, Christopher Nolan used this as his Gotham City for the Dark Knight trilogy, and they also used this map of Gotham for the Gotham TV show on Fox. Probably the biggest Easter egg on here is Wayne Manor and the Batcave. Now this map key lists number 3 as the location. The reason why you can't actually see number 3 on the map though is because the map itself cuts it off. It's on the other side of the river at the top side of the map, just out of frame. You can actually see it in the full comic book version of the map, which also does have labels all over it. So this is actually a much more detailed, really good reference to what they're using in the DCU. Mooney Bridge here is a reference to Batman comic book artist Jim Mooney, who drew a lot of the DC comics in the 1940s. He also worked for Marvel too, and there are many references to important Batman-related people in real life that are referenced in this map and in the comic book version of the map. There's the Kane Memorial Bridge, which Batman would take most days he drives the Batmobile into Gotham to fight crime when he's not flying or going by water. That's a reference to Batman co-creator Bob Kane. He's actually referenced in a couple of these different map points. There's the Knights Sports Complex for the Gotham City baseball team. We actually spotted a couple newspapers on set for the Gotham City Examiner and the Gotham Gazette, both also based on Batman comic book newspapers, talking about super deep cut Jimmy Red McCoy, who's a mob boss from the original Batman comics who's on trial during the movie. And in those newspapers, they also mention the Gotham City Knights baseball team going up against the Metropolis Meteors team. So there is a rivalry going on between both cities, which is common in the comics. They've also done it in the movies. Zack Snyder did it a lot during Batman v Superman, where both cities had this rivalry going on. During the Superman movie, you also remember he had his big fight against Ultraman and the Engineer inside their Meteors baseball stadium, which was owned by Maxwell Lord, technically. Another really big one, Amusement Mile, Joker's base of operations in present day. There was another Easter egg for the Joker in the graffiti amongst all the band posters too. I don't know if we're actually going to see Joker running around in this movie. They'll probably just reference him and wait to introduce him once they cast an actor to play the new version of DCU Joker. There's Gotham City Botanical Gardens, big Poison Ivy location. Also, don't know who's playing DCU Poison Ivy yet, but she'll probably show up in some other future movie at some point. Monarch Theater, the place where Joe Chill killed Batman's parents, inspiring him to eventually become Batman. James Gunn has spoken at length about never wanting to do the Batman origin story again, like never seeing the ripped string of pearls ever again. Like we've seen that so many times, we don't need to see it again. There's the Kane Estate, another big reference to Bob Kane. Also, Batman's mother, Martha, is a Kane.
Why did you say that name?
But it also seems like in the DCU, James Gunn is going to make Batman's mother, Martha Wayne, a Kane instead of an Arkham like Matt Reeves did inside the Batman universe. Speaking of which, there's Arkham Asylum, which also got a big name drop during Peacemaker Season 2, the DCU Arkham Asylum. They were saying that a bunch of supervillains had recently been escaping from Arkham and Belle Reve Prison right after the events of the Superman movie. So currently, as of the events of the Superman movie in the DCU, Batman is probably very active right now trying to recapture whoever just escaped from there recently. Maybe we'll get some more Easter eggs about that at the end of the Peacemaker Season 2, because James Gunn said there'd be way more crossover with Superman and direct setup for the Man of Tomorrow Superman sequel movie. Then there's another big one, Ace Chemical, birthplace of the Joker. Robinson Park is a reference to Jerry Robinson, another longtime DC Comics artist who drew on the Batman comics. He started as a penciler and an inker, though, working with Bob Kane and Bill Finger when Batman was first created. He's also the one who suggested using the name Robin when Bob Kane and Bill Finger wanted to create a new sidekick for Batman. There's the Penguin's Iceberg Lounge, so there will be a new DCU Penguin active at some point. James Gunn has not cast him yet because Colin Farrell's version in Matt Reeves' movies is still very much in his prime. They just did the Penguin series on HBO, and he's going to come back during the Batman 2 in that movie. Probably going to be a while before we see DCU Penguin. There's the Gotham City Courthouse. The Vince Finkel Bridge is also an Easter egg for Vincent Gorfinkel in real life, who was another Batman comic book editor in the 1990s. Vauxhall Center might be a reference to Wilhelmina Vauxhall, who's actually from the Legion of Superhero comics, is a character called Princess Projectra. It might belong to her ancestors, and they're just saying that she descends from that line eventually. James Gunn, as far as I know, has not said anything about actual Legion of Superheroes characters showing up anytime soon, but we do have the new Superman sequel movie, Man of Tomorrow, coming in 2027. Brainiac seems like he's going to be the villain of that, and there is a lot of Brainiac crossover with the Legion, so we will see if there's some Easter eggs in the background. Then there's a bunch more very specific Batman Easter eggs. Wayne Industries in town, the actual corporate building. We saw Henry Cavill's Superman demolish the DCEU version of this during Batman v Superman. RIP to all those people. Wayne Tower here was built by Batman's great-great-grandfather, many times over removed in the 19th century. For a long time, it was the tallest building in Gotham City. You remember Batman's family, the Waynes, are one of the founding members of Gotham City. Maybe they'll get into Court of Owls stuff in the DCU. It just seems like untouched territory so far in the live-action movies.
As for whether or not the Court of Owls will actually appear, I think I may have proof.
There were also a lot of indicators that Matt Reeves might eventually get into Court of Owls stuff during the first Batman movie. Just a few big Easter eggs going on in the background. There's the GCPD headquarters, probably going to visit there during the Clayface movie. Then there's City Hall. This is another important one because this is what it's going to look like in the Clayface movie, like they're filming scenes there. This is DCU confirmed, and this is what the Matt Reeves Batman universe City Hall looked like. So notice that they're completely different, just indicating that Matt Reeves Batman movies are meant to be an alternate universe. They won't secretly try to connect Robert Pattinson to the DCU. Unless something really big changes down the line, I would recommend holding a lot of those theories very loosely. But at least right now, if you take James Gunn at his word, they're going to be casting a brand new version of Batman. Funny enough, too, there was also a sign for the Gotham Regeneration Project that people spotted on set, which does seem mysteriously similar to the Gotham City Renewal Project from the Batman movies, but it's a different name, so it's not meant to show that they're secretly connected. Probably one of the other biggest ones is Blackgate Penitentiary, where majority of Batman villains get taken between that and Arkham Asylum. And then there's a sign for Finger Memorial Park, which is a reference to Bill Finger, co-creator of Batman. They're not going to leave Bill Finger out. Then there's a new Black Canary sign on a storefront that makes it seem like she will definitely appear in this movie, in addition to all the other banned Easter eggs that we spotted in the other video that I just did. I'll link that at the end of this. Probably the next biggest villain Easter egg that we spotted is a Roman Sionis sign for a construction company that makes it seem like Black Mask will also appear in the movie, but I don't know what his role would be or how big he would be in the Clayface movie. Probably one of the other biggest questions that we still have about the movie is when it takes place exactly in the timeline, because this is supposed to be the origin of the metahuman Matt Hagen version of Clayface, who we actually spotted running around on set with his injuries, like he's about to undergo the treatment that will turn him into a metahuman. Here's the thing though, we also just saw the metahuman Clayface seemingly die during Creature Commandos, which is supposed to be canon and according to James Gunn, took place before the events of the Superman movie. But you look at all these other Easter eggs on the set of the Clayface movie for Zesty Cola, Soder Cola, Big Belly Burger, Jitters, which are all meant to be present-day DCU, like around the events of the Superman movie, making it seem like this movie does happen closer to present day. So really confusing on that front. Hopefully James Gunn will actually clarify that soon. Generally seems like he's actually been pretty good about answering fans' really particular questions about little details in the background, especially when it comes to stuff that they mention on the TV shows like Peacemaker right now.
Screw that guy. You know he tells people I'm a puke freak?
If you spotted any other Easter eggs or references that I didn't talk about during the video, just write them below in the comments and I'll add them to my future bonus videos. They'll be filming the movie for a while, so we might get some more new character Easter eggs like new villains, new big superhero characters that they introduced during the movie. Normally, you might think that the new Batman might show up during the Man of Tomorrow movie because it's coming out in a couple years. It's a good long ways off, but the problem is that movie comes out a couple months before Matt Reeves' Batman 2, and I don't think that James Gunn wants to do Matt Reeves dirty or Robert Pattinson in that way, and so he'll probably wait till after that comes out to cast his new Batman. I just did that much bigger video about Joker Easter eggs and other Easter eggs that we spot on the set. Click here to learn about that, and click here for my new Peacemaker episode video where they canonize David Ayer's Suicide Squad to the DCU. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.